Shalom Israel, this is Sister Kana, and welcome to another edition of COI Times, Children of Israel Times in the Days of Prophecy. Okay, now first I want to say all glory and praise to Ahaya Asha Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya, and thank you, Father, for your holy word and your blessings. Glory to your holy name. This article is just a one-page article, and I want to say that I really didn't want to write this article, but I have to, and I want to sound the alarm. I want to blow the trumpet in Israel that something is very wrong. The title of this newsletter is Agents Amongst Israel. And the Most High told us that there will be a time of deception. So I'm not that alarmed about it, but I didn't want to have to be the one to bring this out. But I have to do what the Most High commands me to do. Now, I had a problem with it because I don't want to be the one to speak against my brothers or divide the nation, and my spirit is with Israel, and I want to see our brothers and sisters make it to the kingdom, and this is the reason why I am making this video. I find that maybe last week or so I found that there was a change in the calendar of one of the Israelite groups that I've been, I always watch, and since I've come out of America, I've always, tuned into. But okay, let me say, maybe 2 years ago, the Most High gave me, He blessed me and gave me the understanding to the calendar, to understand and how to figure out the calendar. And I had to fast, and I prayed about it because I knew that something was wrong with us worshiping the holy days alongside the Karsars and the Jewish. So once I woke up to the truth, my main thing was trying to figure out how to come to the Father and keeping His commandments, which are the feast days and His Sabbaths and the laws. So when I found that every year that, for the first year we were celebrating the same way the Karsas was, I found that odd. So I started speaking to the brothers, certain brothers, about it. And I mean, they seemed like it was important, but it wasn't that important. And I didn't understand how could it not be important, because these are the laws of the Most High. So then I started, it was just on my spirit, and I just kept doing it. So I made a video in 2010 when I noticed that there was no changes, that we still kept the feast days alongside with the Khazar Jewish. I just found that so wrong. So then I put the video up, and you can look in my archives. It's called Peace, Feast Days, and Calendar 2010. So then I prayed and I fasted, and I asked the Most High to show me. So I went into the books and I figured out how to come up with the calendar. So then I made the calendar, and I emailed it to different elders to tell them, like, look, something is wrong. We shouldn't keep the days the same time as the Gentiles. The Most High make us separate, and we have to figure out what's pleasing to the Most High. So, and I never really got any response. So I figured, okay, because I'm a woman, brothers, you're not really receiving anything from a woman, and that made me a little hesitant about speaking up about it. And so I just left it alone. Okay, forget it, whatever. So then then that year, they was keeping the laws. It was along with the Khazars again, so it just bothered my spirit. I just was like, wait a minute. So then I started sending little messages like, the days are wrong, this and this and that. And I noticed that I started getting attacks, subtle attacks through my YouTube, through my emails, things like that. But I just brushed it off. But so then every time a holiday would come up, I would send a message like, these can't be right. So now that was 1 year. Now this year, the same thing. Now I started getting attacked so much that I closed my YouTube account because I just didn't really feel like being bothered. But I wanted to pay attention to what was going on because I was emailing the elders about it. But I started getting attacked like from women, like as if I wanted their husband kind of thing. So I was just like, wait a minute, because I didn't want to really be bothered with it. I just kind of just pushed it away and just ignored it. But I ended up closing my YouTube account because I found that people were breaking into my accounts, into my emails, and all kind of things. Started sending out all kind of messages under my email account. They just hacked into my accounts. So I closed my YouTube, and I didn't, but I still was sending messages in regards to what was going on, and I didn't like the way things were going on, and I did contact the elders. So now this year came along, I did the calendar again, and I'm persistent about the Most High and His feast days. I sent out another the email again to the elders and saying, take a look at the calendar, see if it's right. But I don't feel that we should celebrate alongside the Gentiles. It doesn't seem right. Again, I had nothing. So okay. So the feast, I'm gonna keep the laws according to the Most High, from what He showed me. So again, the feast day came and passed and nothing. So then when I realized that another feast day was coming up, I said, okay, now this has got to stop. I opened up a new YouTube account, and that's the account I have right now. And then I started to, I put the calendar up on the YouTube, and so that brothers and sisters can at least see it, anyone who wanted to see it. And then I found out that one of the elders went off into the new moon calendar. So I was like, wow, that's deep. That's deep. He totally just went off. So then we got the understanding of how the satanic the new moon calendar is, and so we know not to do that. Okay, so now here we are at the feast days, and I'm getting these attacks or whatever, or and I'm still thinking it's like due to jealous women and this catty stuff and just all kind of nonsense that I'm really not paying too much attention, but I know it's going on. So I was very alarmed this year. So I look on their calendar and notice that the days are not changed, and they're wrong. They're blatantly wrong on the calendar. Like the new moon, counting 10 days from the new moon, you wouldn't get the fifth day. It just wouldn't happen. And and granted, maybe the Most High gave me this information, and He, I got to understand it. Granted, I can accept that if I know something that other people don't know. But when somebody reaches out to you with this information, and they give you the information, and they say, Elder, can you take a look at it? There shouldn't be no attacks behind it. So there's no reason why there wasn't any communication about the Most High's calendar. I don't understand that. It was just totally ignored. And then I find that one of the elders went off onto a new moon calendar, which caused a separation. So my red flags is up. So now, a couple of weeks ago, when the calendar was changed, it was wrong from the first place, but then it was changed and took everyone back under the Moloch and Baal worship. Then I had a problem. I may have took too long to even speak up about it. I should have spoken up maybe far sooner. But because of the teaching that the Most High doesn't deal with women, that women shouldn't really be speaking up, I don't want to cause division amongst the church. I love my brothers and sisters, and I want to see Israel come back to the Father. But I know that we're not coming back to the Father if we're not worshiping the Most High on the correct days. So it doesn't even make sense for me to be silent any longer. Once the calendar was changed at the last minute, and it went back under the same days of the Jewish Khazars and that Moloch and Baal worship, I had to say, wait a minute. Now this has got to stop. If nobody else is paying attention, I'm going to have to be the one to speak up, because it just can't happen. I have to worship the Most High, and I'm going to worship the Most High. I've always kept the calendar that the Most High showed me, but it's not just for me. It's for Israel. So there's something wrong, brothers and sisters, and I want to sound the alarm that we are not to be deceived, no matter who it is. Do not let no one tell you that we don't have to keep the commandments. Once we come back to the Father, we have to keep the commandments. When there was grace, but the grace was given to us because we wasn't keeping the laws. We was under a curse. So Most High gave us grace so that we still would be covered, that he didn't have to destroy everybody. We were cursed, so we had grace. But once we come back up out of the curse and we understand that the Most High, we have to go under the law, he's going to bring us back under the law. We have to keep the laws. And don't let no one explain that away. Don't tell them that, oh, you don't have to fast, just keep it as a Sabbath. No, you ought to afflict your soul on the Day of Atonement. You ought to dwell in tents for 7 days, because this is the requirement. These are his laws, his statutes, and commandments. They are assigned between us. So if you don't keep them at the appointed time, you're not worshiping the Most High. And this is why he was very specific about this. Let's take the Feast of Tabernacles, for instance. It's a Sabbath day, a holy Sabbath the first day, and it's a holy Sabbath the last day. So that way there is a very small line for you to get it wrong. If you don't keep that rest, that Sabbath, you're off and you're not worshiping him. And at the last day, if you don't keep it on that 8th day, if you don't keep it as a rest, as a Sabbath, you're off. And that's the reason why he implemented that way, so that you would know when to keep his laws and statutes. So there's no excuse. There's no explaining away off a day or two. You can't. He said if you love him, you're going to keep his commandments. If you love him, you're going to figure out how to serve him and how to worship him. He said worship him. You can't go back under the law of the Moloch and Baal. That's unacceptable. That's why we went into captivity in the first place. So I'm sounding the alarm. Israel, do not be deceived. Brothers can be compromised. Maybe someone has gotten to them, because I have to give the brothers the benefit of the doubt. I know how feverish they are about this truth. I know that they want to go to the kingdom, but if they have been compromised, if someone has gotten to them, how would you know? The only way you would know is through the teaching. And it's something is wrong, because they tried to get us off on those days. And if they think they slick, but it's not. You're not that slick. You're not that smooth. So Israel, I'm telling you to pay attention. Do not be deceived. Do not let anyone keep you from the testimony of Christ. They must keep the teaching of Christ. Don't try to explain away why you don't need to teach Christ anymore. And don't try to confuse us with the calendar. For the last 3 years, there's always been a discrepancy with the calendar. And that is the only two things that's going to bring us back to the Father. Knowing all that other information is fine. Understanding the history of how they did it, how they kept us in slavery, how they lied to us and changed the laws, all that is fine. But what's going to get you back to the Father are those commandments, is Christ's testimony and getting baptized. The baptism, everybody's doing the baptism, but no, keeping that testimony of Christ and keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, which are his feast days, his holy convocations, dietary laws, and fringes. Do not let anyone deceive you. If we're going back under the law, you have to go completely under the law, Israel. This is the sign between us and the Most High. It's the only sign we have. So I definitely don't want to offend anyone. I'm not trying to cause division. We are to come out of America. You must get out of there. They are going to destroy that place. Leave. So I don't want to do that. And this is why I've been silent about it. But trust me, this has been going on for 2 years. And people can threaten me. They can say whatever they want about me. They can talk about me, make videos. I do not care. I'm standing for this truth. And I have to choose the Most High. I'm going with the Most High. So I pray that someone hears me, and all praise and glory to Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya. Israel, be strong, because they're not gonna let this thing go easily. So I'm praying for our brothers and sisters, especially in the gathering of Christ. I pray that they're safe and that brothers, they're not, in no harm's way. Shalom, Israel.